Take a seat, sit back, and relax, because you are listening to Real Talk Radio, where the talk gets real. Welcome to Big Brother All-Star Edition. Week 6 recap.
Welcome, everybody, to Real Talk Radio. This is your boy, Justin JLB. This is BB Talk, as always, and we're at week 10, which means we are 2 weeks away from the finale. And this also means we're about to recap week 10 on what went down. I, of course, am not alone. I am always with my BB fanatics, and here they are. CICi.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Can't complain.
Good.
Same old as last week. So,
Same old? Oh.
That's
I was hoping we'd change our routine a little.
Nope, we're very basic like that. And of course, we also got our other BB fanatic, Steph. How goes it?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Can't Jesus, same old. About as boring as my what's going on.
It's more of like a rhetorical, like, what's up? Like, we don't always have to be like,
you don't have to actually answer.
Yeah, it's like, hey, what's up, everyone?
Okay. Then I'll feel rude that I ignore
like we're saying what's up to our listeners.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's up? We're here in the house.
Fair. All right.
Hope everybody's well and healthy and safe.
Yes, everybody's well, healthy, safe, washing them hands, practicing that social distancing, wearing those masks when they go outside, and all that fun little stuff. We are not here to tell you how to live your life. We are here to tell you how BB this week went. And let's get that recap going. Mm-hmm. So, essentially, obviously, we start with the stashing pumpkins competition. We saw a little bit happen towards the end on Thursday, but of course, it was going to be a long comp. So Julie said, hey, find out on Sunday. So basically, it was a seesaw, and you had to stash your pumpkins from one end of the seesaw to the other and place it in a basket. You have to be careful, though, because the basket will be going up in the air since it is a seesaw when you have to go and get the other one. And it can be very, very difficult. If you drop one pumpkin, you have to restart. So you have to really focus and you have to take it slow. Essentially, with that, Christmas seemed like she was going to win. It really did. And I might feel really bad about this later, but I was so happy when she was on the last one and she made the pumpkin fall. Nothing made me happier.
I may or may not have also had a mini celebration moment. Steph was also on point with strategy on this one. She called it out last episode about how to get her done. So...
Yeah, no, that's it there. So Steph was on point with that. She would have killed this if she was in that house. We got to find a way to make this a thing. We got to go find some seesaws and make this part of our competition thing because that sounded really fun.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And we'll see if Steph's strategy will, in fact, work perfectly to the T. That would be awesome. Cody had no what's the word I'm looking for? Cody basically they had no belief in Enzo. Enzo was dropping pumpkins left, right, and center, and he's just can't believe he's partnered up with this guy in a joking manner. But I'm sure he was nervous because Cody was nervous. He saw Enzo wasn't doing good. He saw Christmas was doing good until she slipped, and then he was all happy again. It seemed like Memphis was getting there, so Memphis was the next one up. He was getting close, and then he also caused one of the pumpkins to fall, so he had to restart. So that essentially would only leave Nocole because Enzo's not doing anything, and Nocole comes through your girl Nocole ends up winning the stashing of the pumpkins. So,
Yeah.
yay, Nocole.
I mean, I was just happy that she obviously won by chance because, let's say I was saying slow and steady wins the race. And basically, you want to bank on someone else making a wrong move or going too quickly. So I was a little happy that Christmas and Memphis both messed up. But, happy for Nocole just because her winning was the best case scenario for like how I wanted it to go. That's the only reason I was happy.
Yeah, no, and I'm happy for her to win too. I mean, she hasn't really done much competition wise this season. I think she was just really patient with herself. So I think it's a solid win. As much as she won by default because other people messed up. That's also part of the game, right?
Yeah,
that's why
exactly.
if one pumpkin falls, so it's a good win.
Yeah.
And so Christmas is super happy. She's making it to Christmas. Wow. Nocole is super happy. She's making it to Final Four. One person who isn't such a happy camper, and we see her cry and go crazy again, is, of course, Christmas, who is just devastated.
I was not even sympathetic. I was like, it's a game. You can't win every competition. You can't play in every competition. Because last time she cried, it was because she didn't get picked again for the veto.
Oh, so over it. I think we're all so over it.
Yeah, done. Didn't care. I'm like, Christmas, just don't win anything. Just get out of here. So Christmas will surely be the target. Christmas, but Memphis doesn't realize. What am I doing? Okay, hold on. Yes, so Memphis knows Nocole's win means that someone from the Wise Guy Alliance, of course, will go up and go home. He basically whispers with Cody, who lies and says that Christmas will surely be the target. But Memphis doesn't realize how little Cody trusts him anymore at this point, because Memphis is still on this whole thing that, he's the top player and everybody loves him. And he's a sure thing going to be safe with anyone. Nocole, though, chats with her closest allies, who, of course, is Cody and Enzo, and they agree to simply target Memphis. Cody isn't sure he could, in fact, beat Memphis on finale night, which I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't think that, Cody, but I don't know, man. Memphis does have this intimidation factor that really scares a lot of people. So there's something there. But in terms of player-wise, I think if it's between Cody and Memphis, Cody would surely win, just out of competition.
I don't know. I think this was a good. I think Cody logically laid that out pretty well for himself. And at this point, really, their stories are a little too similar, right? So if Memphis gives the right speech, he gets a lot of the credit for Cody's game.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think from a logic perspective, from Cody's vantage point, I think he's working the right narrative at this point with Nocole.
Well, and we've been seeing the parallels between the two of them since day one, literally. So
well, and that's partly because they started on day one or two. So yeah, they roughly have the same game. It's just Cody was more he won competitions essentially more than Memphis. But again, Memphis was kind of the leader of making the committee and so on. So
yeah.
Well, I say that Julie was even saying it from day one, production even edited it just to kind of parallel their stories and pit them against each other. From Julie even asked them before getting in the house about each other and who had the better alliance and who would be better in the game. And so it's production knew that they would be top contenders and they would be good frenemies. But look, they aligned early on, and it's only normal that they got to the end. I would have expected it.
And Memphis will get points for stealth, right?
Yeah,
because Cody wasn't the only comp beast so far this season, right? We've seen other players really step up to the plate. So
that's it. So Yeah, it's a very similar game, and Memphis is definitely, I would say, better with his words than maybe Cody is. Cody does have that sweet boy, I guess, attitude, if you will. But yeah, definitely similar games. So while people are whispering in the house, though, we also see that Christmas repeatedly is surprised when she finds surprised to walk in on Enzo in the bathroom. I love how they just keep showing the Enzo mannerisms because it's hilarious.
Okay, but do you see what he does before he opens the bathroom door? I'm just saying. He knocks, waits a second, knocks a second time, and then opens the door. So his bathroom etiquette is just opposite of everybody else's. He's like, no, if you want to come in, like knock on the door.
Well, but lock the door. There has to be.
No, I don't think there is a lock in the bathroom door.
Oh. Okay, then that's totally different then. Yeah, knock.
Exactly.
Okay.
Christmas is not knocking, so everybody's giving Enzo a hard time for this. And Christmas is not knocking on the door.
There was like a Cody diary room session where you could knock and wait, and like Enzo won't answer you. So he's like, if we knock and you're in the bathroom, like say something, because then people think.
It's true. That may be the case, but all the clips with Christmas, it's like she just goes and opens the door.
Right.
She deserves it.
Or, I mean, I don't know, put some kind of like, make sure you have to wear shoes when you're going into the bathroom so you can hear the steps or something. I don't know. And why did Cody say anything? Cody was technically in the shower, so Cody could have said something too. Either way, these people just have no mannerisms or no etiquette.
Weird.
Yeah. None of these people should ever live together ever again. Nocole gets her HOH room, and we see her fiance sent her a letter saying that the wedding is coming as planned, and it is going to be in December. I don't know if it was November or December. I'm pretty sure it was December. So that's great. He apparently looks completely different now from season 18. Cody was even like, bro, what did you do? You completely changed. In the diary room, he was mentioning that. And so, he found him. I don't really remember Victor a lot, to be honest with you. So thank God they showed me recaps of when he was on season 18 and then how he looks now. And I was like, oh, okay, made a complete change up. And now he just seems really kind of sort of dependent on Nocole. More so than he did back then. Whatever, but he was single. Totally different thing. Now he's been with Nocole for a hot minute, so it is what it is. Christmas and Nocole chat and acknowledge how beloved Enzo and Cody are by the jury, and Nocole is happy to hear Christmas's primary target appears to be Cody. Christmas also thinks Nocole should target someone who wins a lot of comps, so of course alluding to getting rid of Cody. And Nicole's kind of thinking about it. However, she doesn't think about it too much because then she shares this information with Cody and tells him, "Hey, Christmas has it out to get you." And at this point, we see that Cody is kind of saying, "Okay, now she's going to be the one to go." This obviously worries Nocole, and she's worried that Cody isn't going to vote her way, kind of deal, and she might have just messed up your plan.
I think this was a really important lesson for Nocole.
But I mean, you should have kind of known this, Nocole. Nocole, you're not like 10 people anymore. You're literally 5 people. If Christmas is going to tell you something, take that information and see how that could benefit you, because you're not a lot of people. I don't know.
And that's what I mean by it being a really important lesson for Nocole, is realizing like we're down to the wire here, and you're letting your loyalty or your comfort inhibit your game, right? So she even said like, I shouldn't have said anything to you, right?
Right.
So I think this was an important lesson for her. I wish she had learned it a few weeks ago, but yeah, it was an important lesson for her.
Yep. And do you guys have foot fetishes?
No.
No? Because
No.
Enzo knows someone who does and loves his feet.
So weird.
Yeah, so I love these Enzo drop-ins. They're amazing. So basically, Enzo shares about his foot stalker with
10
the
years.
other
10 years he's had this foot stalker.
10 years. Imagine that. And he would mention he would have photos of his sock with a hole in it, and he would like give it like a little risque picture to them. And I was just completely shocked by this. And he doesn't even have like nice feet. But that person seems to just love Enzo's feet so much.
And he loves the attention.
Yeah, of course. And he's giving the people what they want. Or
Yeah.
just that foot stalker, what that
person.
person wants. Yeah. So I thought that was entertaining. And after that, we see Memphis pitch a deal to Nocole to stay off the block because he's feeling, I'm going to go up. I'm not as close with Nocole as Cody and Enzo are. Basically, he gives her the deal of, look, I'll vote your way to keep nominations the same after veto. And if he stays off the block, and he will also take her to final 2 if he wins the veto the following week. I mean, just guarantee her final 2. Just don't make it a whole if I win the veto. No, just promise her final 2. And I think that's what she was kind of looking for. I believe she even mentioned it when Memphis left, like, yo, you should have given me a better deal. Like, offer me final 2 for sure kind of deal. Maybe it would have been better for your game.
Yeah. And so this kind of was an interesting moment to watch because it reminded me a little bit more of kind of the old school playing mentality of dealing. And this is really what I wanted to see kind of more throughout the whole series, the season, because we have all of this history from the series. And this is what Kesar and Janelle were trying to do earlier, right? Is let's get some short-term deals going. Let's do this. So I think had these type of deals been more evident throughout the season, Nocole would have reacted differently to that, first of all. But second of all, I don't think Memphis was going to honor the deal.
No.
Regardless of what he offered. So I think because it's disingenuous, you can't, it's not a good offer. It never will sound good.
To be fair, I feel like he always talks the same though, even when he's being genuine. I don't think there's any change with Memphis's wording.
No, but if it was genuine, he would have been like, well, maybe, why do I have to add that extra layer of the veto? I can just go straight, right? Because it wasn't genuine. He made it more complicated than it needed to be or should have been.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, bro, I'm pretty sure, well, Nocole might not know a whole lot, but Nocole knows you don't have anything with her. You're going to just suddenly make this deal now on Final 5? Like, come on. Should have talked to her more and so on. He just feels too comfortable all the time. And I'm glad Nocole didn't fall for that. And she didn't fall for it because she ends up nominating Memphis and Christmas for Eviction. Her goal is to simply see Memphis leave the BB house but Memphis, of course, is thinking that he's good because he has the various alliances in the house. Meanwhile, Christmas feels confident that she isn't the primary target. But no, those veto is obviously her only safe bet. So that happens. Memphis, Christmas going up. I honestly didn't see it any other way. She's so close with Cody and Enzo now. I didn't see her putting up Cody and Enzo at all.
Yeah, same.
Right? Like, that's it. So I was like, okay. So Memphis was right to try to make that deal. But again, be a bit more genuine about it. Like you said, CICi. Probably would have got him, probably not. She probably still would have put them up. But either way, we know her target is Memphis now at this point. After nominations, Nocole chats with Christmas a bit to reassure her she's not her target for eviction. Enzo and Cody also can't help but take some glee in being the only 2 house guests who haven't yet been nominated and how strong of a position they are in. I, for some reason, was shocked for Cody. I'm like, wait, Cody was never nominated, but then I realized, oh yeah, because your team was always in power.
Yeah, he was always in kind of the center of the power, right? So
that's it.
If it wasn't him, it was someone that he was very close with, at least at that moment in that game. So, yeah, no, he hasn't been nominated, and it's impressive. This is not unusual for Enzo, like because of his strategy. Right. I think the only time he was nominated his season, he went home.
Aw.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but Enzo's a great social gamer. I really love it.
Just different game. Yeah.
Just totally awesome. Memphis isn't too concerned about being on the block, as I mentioned, even if he doesn't win the power video, because once again, Wise Guys #1 alliance with Enzo and Cody will protect him. At least he thinks so. So in the HOH, sweet Enzo reiterates to Nocole that he thinks Memphis is actually a bully and is a comp beast, and he would just need to leave. So clearly, I don't know, Memphis is not reading people correctly, or Enzo's just good at just, being the chill on dude and so on. So he knows if anyone comes down off the block as well, though, and the veto is used, he's likely the one Nocole would put up, as he doesn't think that Nocole would put up Cody. So at least he's aware of that. And obviously, Enzo would like to keep nominations the same.
This is one of those moments where I do have respect for Enzo's game. Like we give him a hard time, and he is that comic relief. Mm-hmm. But I think that this is where I do give him a lot of credit. I think that this is where we see what Enzo's how he plays the game, how he sees the game, and it really is about that connection and that social play and being. He's not dumb, right? Like no. He sees the networks, he sees how things are working, and I think he plays into that really well. And I do think it's intentional. I think he's doing this on purpose. It's not dumb luck.
I mean, I think he has his moments. I don't know if it's completely, he's a great social gamer and so on, but I think he just simply has his moments, and maybe he has these quote unquote blonde moments, if you will, mm-hmm. where he's not in fact thinking and he's just kind of unaware of things. I think he just might have that. And the reason why I say that is because of another incident that involved him with the teapot. Right? Like,
I love the toxic masculinity that comes out here with the teapot being feminine. It's not manly. I just boil my water in a pot like a man.
I never thought of, I mean, granted, I never had a turquoise teapot. So, but I mean, I never considered a teapot to be a feminine thing at all. Like Cody was even like, dude, you're such a man-child. Like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was weird to see him do it on just a regular pot and putting the water in like that. I'm like, dude, you can cause so much harm. Just use a teapot. It's right there. It makes things so easy. And he was fascinated by the whistling, which was hilarious. It's like he never heard it before. Like, oh, it whistles. Like, what? Enzo, you've been on this earth for like more than 40 years.
Well, it just makes me wonder, like, his family, like, did people not use a kettle? Because like there are a lot of people who make tea very traditionally, which is you make it in the pot and then you strain the leaves out. Mm-hmm. So it's a different way of making tea. So I wonder if he's just like never had a kettle in his life, like not that maybe.
Or honestly, it's the other
kettle.
It's the what's the other kettle where technically you play it's electric. You kind of plug it in and it's like a big. Anyway, it's another type of kettle that's not the metal one that would whistle. It would just when it's hot you could pour the water in. Or who knows? He seems like a very old-fashioned Italian family. So
and that's what I mean. Yeah,
old-fashioned way sort of deal. Yeah, but I just thought it was hilarious. I loved it.
Cute.
Oh, Enzo, so awesome. So with that, I did skip technically a bit, but I just thought it was perfect timing to mention. Oh no, that was technically next. I did perfect. Never mind me. Memphis jokes with Cody about how Christmas is acting so safe when he knows that the wise guys will vote in his favor. So we're still on this. He still thinks he's good to go. And I guess, confidence is great, but sometimes denial just has to kick in there, buddy. Like, never think you're so safe, especially in the Big Brother house. Like, come on.
And this late in the game.
Yeah. Like, really? And then so the whole Enzo tea kettle situation happened. Great. Christmas proposes to Enzo that the best chance at the Wise Guys 2 to stay beyond this week is for Enzo to win the POV and use it on one of the nominees, forcing Nicole to nominate Cody, which great strategy on Christmas's part. That's kind of what you need to do, kind of build in that doubt. Hey, Cody's a strong player. Let's get him out now. Do you honestly think you're going to win against Cody? Yada, yada, yada. And Enzo obviously plays along, but in the diary room, he says if he did in fact win it, he would just keep nominations the same. Enzo gives this information to Nicole about the conversation and just stresses, hey, we should probably get rid of Christmas. But Nicole ultimately, no, I want Memphis gone. Let's do it. Memphis has to leave. With that said, house guests share with each other about how much they miss their family and significant others and the trials they've gone through with them. I don't really remember necessarily anything too significant, just that everyone's kind of missing their fam jam. Yeah, don't really remember much there. We do see Christmas tell Nicole she'd like to take her to the end as an official final two. So this is where that conversation happens and why Nicole ultimately really wants Memphis out, which completely great for Christmas's part. And Christmas also mentioned I kind of would like not to depend on a guy, but also to have a girl with me at the final two. Crazy for it to be Nicole, but Nicole is kind of her only option.
Yeah, and I think she's having flashbacks to her season. I think they refer to it in the episode as well, right? Where she gets to the end and is just kind of, let go casually. So
that's it with Josh, right? Josh basically said, yeah, that was ultimate burn. I still felt bad. I'm like, oh man, freaking Josh. And he wins. Well, smart money. He won.
Exactly. So. He did a good, he knew, because Christmas was a lot more likable that season. And she was injured, so people were more sympathetic to her, and I think she would have had great jury management.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, well, she had to because competition wasn't a thing. And I was, when they showed this, I did kind of be like, well, this is one of the reasons why she was so upset with all the competitions. Not that it excuses the behavior by any means, but yeah, she didn't play in competitions for a lot of her season, so I think that that's why it maybe was so important to her to prove that that was an element of her game that was missing before.
That's it. And ultimately, Nicole agrees because she knows that Christmas would still always target Cody over her or Enzo. So she knows as long as Cody's in the game, I am good. And yeah, take me to final two. Let's go. Next up, we got the Power of Veto competition. And this week, it is BB Comics. This, of course, is the great show, this is the great competition where we see all of our Big Brother house guests as superheroes. And they, basically the person must look at all the comics. They have to go on a dolly of some sort. Not a dolly, but whatever. A thing. They have to swing across the window to see what the comics are. And then they have to match the comics because there's two different types of comics for each one. Yeah, so I'll go through basically the comics quickly because I just love the comics and their names and how creative they are. I'll go through it quickly though. So Bailey had Bailey's Comet, which was the Queen Bey returns as Bailey's Comet. Christmas was Miss Claus. The Fa-la-la-la-la Lunatic returns as Miss Claus. Cody is the Califury, which I thought was hilarious and awesome.
Very clever.
Very clever. Very cheesy and very clever. The Infinator returns as the Califury. That's kind of was a tagline. Davon as Daydream. And Daystruction returns to Daydream. Enzo wasn't a fan. Enzo thought it was, or no, I think it was Memphis who wasn't a fan of the
Memphis.
Javon's comic. Like maybe it was her dream to make it the final two. Guess not. Like I don't know. Kind of lame though. It was kind of a lame comic though. Like the dream, really. You kind of thought anything more creative, guys?
Yeah, it was a play on her name. Whatever.
Yeah, Destruction though was good. Destruction returns. Okay. So Danny was the regulator, which that's fine. She regulated the team, I guess, which is not true. But sure, let's go with that. David was David and Goliath. Freeze frame returns as David and Goliath. Really lame. But what can you do? Enzo was awesome with the meow meow. Of course that was happening.
Of course.
Ian was Dirk Space Jammer, which I guess makes sense because he's all into what's the word I'm looking for? He's all into gravity and space and so on.
Well,
so
this was also based on his punishment from really early in the season, right?
Oh snap! Yes, you are right. Okay, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
True. That makes sense. And one that Nicole wasn't a fan of was Janelle, as she is the bombshell. So we'll get to why Nicole wasn't a fan of it afterwards. Kesar is King Kesar. Of course, this will be alluded to later on with the chess moves, I think, was the whole thing on why they did this. He played in the chess game, and he was the winner of that competition.
Yeah, the response by Houseguest to this one was kind of interesting, and it just made me go, yeah, these players they don't understand Kesar's pull on the fandom. They really don't.
They really don't at all. And yeah, I don't get why, but I mean, I think Nicole Nicole, the one that left, Nicole A.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. That there's certain BB fanatics who obviously would get it. But yeah, these guys are just, I feel like, don't watch every season then, because yeah. The most basic one was Keisha, as she was the birthday girl.
Which they didn't have much to go on with her, so they had to find something.
Yeah, so they just harkened back to kind of what she was famous for, right? Really, like why she's on All Stars and her drama moment.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Lame. Kevin was the bandanimal, which, why? Because he wears bandanas?
Bandanas all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Lame. This one I thought was clever. Memphis.
I do like this one. Yeah.
And he had like a huge fist. That was awesome. Nocole was the podmaster. Enzo's not a fan. He probably would listen to Nicole's podcast if he was on it, but that's it. By the way, FYI, Nicole also tweeted it and said F you to Enzo, kind of in a joking fashion.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And Nicole responded, I mean, that's only right. Like, bro, you're not a fan of bad guys, but don't bash it on live TV. Saying the guy who's currently doing a podcast. I'm standing up for Nicole. So Nicole F was the serial killer. Cereal as in the box of cereal, as in the unitard that she wore. Really lame.
The catchphrase on this one I think is kind of funny, right? So it's super safety girl returns. And so, yeah, basically I was like, yep, that basically sums up all of Nicole's seasons in one
tagline. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always based around her punishments. So I think this is just the add to her collection of BB comics.
That's it. Tyler was the Abracurl-dabra. Abracadabra, Abracurl-dabra. I don't like it.
I don't like that one at all.
I don't like that one at all. Very silly.
It seems they had a creative, what would be the word? A creative stall when it came to that one.
Yeah, they had that's it.
Writer's
they had
block.
A writer's block,
Yeah.
for sure. And that's it. So basically, we see them all play. The final times are revealed, and we see that once again, Nicole wins this week as she wins the Golden Power veto at a time of 11 minutes and 21 seconds. I feel like it was Memphis who did the worst in this one. I didn't write all the numbers down, but I think Memphis did the worst here. But yeah, kudos to Nicole. Good for her. And I think she was the one most scared. Oh no, Christmas was the one most scared to fall when she was off the thing. So, yeah. So Nicole wins. Yay!
Good for her. Oh, a sweep on the week, and I think she really needed this for her resume at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So she won it where it counted. Cody and Enzo realized they now need to strategize because sending home the wrong person this week could basically mean they both lose. Christmas also tells Nocole she thinks Cody and Enzo will do what they want this week and not what she wants. So if she wants to ensure that their final two stays intact, she should backdoor Cody. So we see Christmas still on that. Hey, Nocole, remember we have final two. We could still do this. You have all the power now. Remember what I said. Blah, blah, blah. The boys are going to do what the boys want. Let's do the girl thing. Let's go. Yeah, but I mean, Nocole knows Christmas is right. But with Cody's chances of winning against any of them, but still unwillingly to take a swing at Cody first, as she decides not to use the power of veto. Nocole, this is the wrong move for your game. I feel like completely.
Agree.
This is where you should have taken the shot, and this ultimately would have been also another notch on your belt going towards jury, in terms of what you can use to win at the end against Christmas. Because honestly, I think anyone against Christmas, that other person is going to win. Christmas was not loved by many in the Big Brother house due to all their tantrums, and she hasn't won anything. Or hasn't won all that much. So, Nocole, this was your shot.
I think she won one veto.
One veto. There we go.
Yeah. I think this move, because Nocole didn't take that risk and make this move, she just handed Cody the win. My opinion.
Ooh,
yeah, I don't think Nocole has a very good chance of winning.
That's it. She definitely shot herself in the foot because with this move, unless she wins next week, yes, she could play next week, right? Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, she can't.
It's the week after.
Oh, Jesus. So many Big Brothers, so little time. Okay. So, yes. So, ultimately, she should have did it, but she didn't. And this is another life lesson, Nocole. Stop thinking about your marriage. You're in the Big Brother game. Let's come on. One job. Yeah. Well, we'll see though. We'll see.
That was a $500,000 mistake.
Oh, snap.
Period.
I like that. Yep. Agreed. Nocole thinks she made the right choice though. Keeping nominations the same, but checks in with Christmas to see if she's mad. Christmas doesn't mind if she needs to be the one to make bigger moves going forward. Enzo thinks he remains in a real good position overall, basically just reiterating that he's in a good spot. Nocole wants Cody and Enzo to vote together so she isn't forced to break the tie, as she doesn't want to show her cards and ultimately get that juror mad at her. Memphis tells Cody he got lucky this week as Christmas was really pushing Nocole to backdoor him, so he's trying to build this doubt again, like, Memphis, what are you doing, bro? He hopes reiterating this will keep Cody extra motivated to evict Christmas. Like, Memphis, do you not think people talk?
This is the scene at the pool table, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so Cody got really cocky, and I think that this is where I was really like, yeah, he's playing a completely different game from Memphis, just like they're operating in different worlds. And we see that with Memphis kind of being really his confidence, right, that we alluded to earlier. And when we are looking at this, Cody, I think he's right, but I think that he is a little delusional about how precarious that situation was. So I think he was relying on his game. I think it speaks to his strategy and the work that he's put in all season. And while he's not wrong, I think that he downplayed that precariousness a lot. That if somebody else gets power, he might be in for a serious wake-up call.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why Memphis still feels safe though. Like he's been confident. Memphis has been this kind of confident the whole season. It is so weird. Like I get it. You built this group and but you shouldn't be so trusting either. Like you know how manipulating you are, Memphis, when you're making all these deals and you're thinking you're sneaky. Why don't you think other people are going to do the same? Do you honestly think you're just special and no one is thinking how you think? This is Big Brother, and not just Big Brother. This is Big Brother All-Stars. Like, come on, Memphis.
Do you really want the answer to that question? Because he doesn't respect them.
Bingo.
You can't respect other people if you don't respect yourself. Is that a jab? Yes, it is. Carry on. Let's keep going.
No, that's it. This goes back to Enzo's comment earlier, right, where he was talking to Nocole, and it's no, he just doesn't respect the other players. That's it.
Yeah, that's very valid. So, well, to get respect, you got to give respect, and Memphis is lame like that. Well, what can you do? So, with that, Enzo is so right away we see Cody reveals in the diary room that Nocole let him know Memphis was also trying to get him on the possible deals with Nocole if she wanted to backdoor Cody. He talks to himself in the backyard like we were mentioning, saying that Memphis is just delusional, which we mentioned he was. Enzo, though, is now starting to think that Memphis is a better choice for himself to, in fact, keep Memphis in the game, knowing that Memphis will target Nocole. What was I going to say? But I wrote this wrong. But Christmas wouldn't. Like, Christmas wouldn't target Nocole, so that's how he feels like, okay, let's do that. At least Memphis will go and target Nocole. But Cody's like, nah, bro, get that out of your head. And suddenly Memphis walks in and they change the topic to the food they're eating, which I mean, when really looking at it,
with that.
They did because
very smooth.
Very smooth because Cody was like, okay, let's switch topics. And Memphis wasn't even in yet. I was like, oh, bam, you have a great peripheral vision, buddy, because that was spot on. So with that, we also get some jury house stuff. And this is quite interesting. The jury guests who will show up as the new juror, they aren't too surprised to see Tyler walk into the jury house, and he shows them what happened leading up to his eviction. Tyler tells them that Cody admitted to having multiple final twos and a final three, and everyone comments on how well Cody is playing, which, yep, I mean, it's about time they know it. This is interesting. Davon also confronts Tyler with his week 5 moves to try and sacrifice his game for her and Bailey. Tyler tells her like everything he wanted to do. He confirms that his intentions were always honest and that it was Christmas who, in fact, wouldn't let him go through with the plan. And he regrets how things did go. I mean, yeah, he did seem sincere. I still kind of feel that it didn't take a whole lot for Christmas to kind of convince him either, though. Like, I felt like he was kind of...
Christmas has a POV and an HOH. She was HOH that week.
Snap! Yes. All right. So, one-on-one. Perfect. But she still doesn't have more than Cody, or Nocole. Yeah. So, get out of here, Christmas. The jurors get messages from their loved ones, and I think I shed a few tears. I felt their sadness, and it was really awesome just to kind of see everybody and Also to see Angela. Angela didn't seem too selfish.
Yeah, I
On this
actually
one.
got emotional. I was like, wow. I'm like, this is nice. I think it was because I saw how emotional Tyler got that I was
That's
like,
it.
oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
That's it. And literally right when it came on, it was like like right away. I was like, oh man, you legit like really miss her. Like, of course, but it was great. I really liked how they showed that.
You two are making me feel dead inside.
Well, you know.
I don't know.
I
don't know. Maybe it's just, I get, being a parent and separating from your kids, but it's just, to me, it's like, it's 3 months. It's 3 months. You signed up for this. I don't know. I must just be dead inside. No empathy when it comes to that. I'm glad you guys were moved. It's awesome.
I mean, yeah, but when you're homesick, it's like being homesick from somewhere. If you're gone anywhere from 2 weeks, let's say you go somewhere, you're going to miss, especially with all the stress in the house. You would cry like a baby Lala, okay? If you went away, don't even start. You're not dead inside. You have a heart. I've seen this heart of yours. You have one. You're not dead inside. You just haven't experienced it yet.
Right, because packing up my car and moving across the country by myself. No idea what that might feel like.
Oh, snap. Well played.
And 3,000 kilometers from my husband for 4 years. No idea what that would feel like.
All right, fair enough. Then you don't have a heart. I'm sorry. All right, you're right. Don't have a heart.
I'm dead inside. I'm jealous. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
There we go. Well, we've solved that crime. Now
cool. Thank you. I feel better about myself now. Let's keep going.
We've solved that, and now it's time to see who ultimately leaves the Big Brother house. So it turns out that Cody and Enzo end up being on the same side on the votes, and they vote to evict Memphis. And Memphis is completely shocked.
Yeah, he's shocked. So this is my frustration with Enzo, because this is like the third or fourth time he's done this, where he gets all ramped up to make a big move and then whoomp, nothing happens. No one else disappointed by this?
Yeah, I definitely was. I think Enzo's really trying to play a specific game right now, because I noticed also maybe I'm skipping ahead, but in the diary room, goodbye messages, he was saying how, he tried to keep him in, but it was a lie. But, I think he's just trying for jury right now. And I don't know. I thought it was a little bit weird that, like, I don't know, maybe it's just the editing too, but they talk about it so much always going the other way, but it's not going to.
And here's the thing too, right? There was also a message that Julie Chen had posted on her Instagram saying that the house completely flipped within the last hour. So perhaps that was the plan with the tying all along, to make it a tie. And then something happened before they went on air that ultimately Enzo changed their mind. And, Enzo didn't want to ruffle feathers, because ultimately Nocole would ask who was the one that did it, and they both would be lying. And then Nocole would say, well, screw you guys, I'm going to side with Christmas. Well, that's if she ultimately decided to evict Memphis, which she was planning on to anyways. So it wouldn't have solved anything. It would have just made Nocole more determined to side with Christmas and go after Cody and Enzo, and therefore be 2-on-2, which I guess is going to happen anyways. It's just Nocole would have been more angrier. So I think Enzo took the route of, let's do it for her. Nicole's happy. Everything's good. Memphis is out. We don't need Memphis anyways. Christmas can't win anything. Nocole can't play. We're good. We're still in a good spot. Let's not ruffle any feathers. I need these people for my jury. Let's go. That's what I think they basically did with that. Yeah. No.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if there's any outtakes in the next episode. And
I'm sure there will be. If Julie especially mentioned that to us,
I think they'll show something.
Yeah, because she was really hyped about that, and I was like, oh, okay.
And they were already live.
Yeah, that's it. So she's such a super fan Oh my
yeah,
god.
it's so fun to see.
It's fun to watch her, yeah. And and I think that was a half baked thought. Never mind.
No heart. No thought. No, okay, I'm just joking. All love.
If I only had a heart. Okay.
Tin Man doesn't have a brain. You'll be the Tin Woman. You won't have a heart. It's settled. You're in the next Wizard of Oz. We're casting you. If I only had a heart. All right. Yeah. I'm done. I'm done with the randomness. Okay. So Julie is interviewing Memphis, obviously. Julie interviews Memphis, and Memphis basically tells her how blindsided he felt. She asks if he would truly have taken Christmas to the end, and he admits he would have kept things fluid and decided later. I don't think Memphis knows what he's doing until he does it. So
I agree.
It just goes to show that Memphis doesn't blame Cody, knowing his own loyalty lay with Enzo. Julie congratulates the house guests and basically that's it. The goodbye messages we talked about. Enzo basically just played the nice guy role. Everyone basically did that. Like, whatever, what are you going to say now? Like, it is what it is. We're down to the nitty gritty here. That's what's going to happen. Julie does inform the house guest, though, that CICi is back. And CICi has a message for everyone. And CICi is here to reveal that basically the next HOH competition is called Night Moves. And this is the giant-sized chess-style competition that pushed his game forward in Big Brother Season 6. Totally don't remember this. This is way too far. This is way too long ago for me to remember.
Clearly, you're not the only one, because the house gets also had no idea what it was.
But did they see the same video package that we did? Like, they did, right?
I don't think so.
No, Enzo, first of all, just reimagined whatever he wanted to in his head and heard what he wanted to. Because when they were leaving, when the show was ending, we heard Enzo saying that CICi was coming back. He thought CICi was coming back, and he's like, oh my God, yo. Even though Julie had just mentioned to them that they are the final four. So Enzo was in his own world. They weren't really paying attention. I don't know.
They think that this is where, the King CICi came from. Now that makes sense. And no. I mean, a little. That's part of the reason why he got that title, because of the chess interaction. So this was I think where CICi's fandom really kind of picked up, because it wasn't just about the competition. CICi masterfully put some manipulation in this game, and verbally, literally talking during the game, but then also afterwards, kind of how he positioned that power. So this is where we saw kind of what CICi was capable of. So this is kind of where the fandom started. Yeah. But this was a very pinnacle moment in BB history. And this is when dealing in competitions started showing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I was saying, I don't know if they saw the same video package that we did, or if they saw one at all, because maybe it should have been self-explanatory, but the game is called, what is it called? Night Moves?
Yeah.
Night Moves, right? So it's essentially you move on a chessboard the same way a knight would, which is 4 steps. You know what I mean? You have
and I think that's just Enzo. That's just Enzo not listening, though. You know what I mentioned with the blonde moments? This is one of them.
So I think there was some cutting in and out. So I think it was him saying, "Oh, don't tell me he's coming back," right? But I think that's what before it was revealed that he was hosting the competition, and so this is after being like, "Oh, okay," you freaked me out thinking that this guy was coming back into the house.
I think that was after, though, because I feel like the credits were rolling sort of deal when we were hearing that. I don't know. I would have.
He was reflecting on it. When she first came out. I think it was a reflection moment, not an actual thought of what was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair. So This should be exciting. I imagine Enzo's not going to do good in this if he's not knowing what a knight is. If he doesn't use teapots, he probably doesn't play chess either. So, I'm canceling Enzo out, and it's going to be a Nicole or Christmas game in this one. Yeah. Oh, and also we learned that this HOH.
You mean
who
Cody?
Plays... Sorry?
You said Nicole and Christmas game? I think because Nicole can't play, so it's Cody
excuse
and
me.
Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
I keep thinking she's playing. So Cody and Christmas game. And this is where we also find out that the winner of this HOH can also play next week as well. So that's very interesting and very, that's great. I wish it happened for Nicole's sake last week, but clearly it can't happen. I can't make history like that.
Isn't this normal? The fourth, like the fourth.
I think so.
Could always play in the third.
Yeah.
I think so. That's nothing new, I don't think, but she's making it sound like it's something new, and I'm just like.
I think it's just to remind people that like, hey, it's the 3-part HOH comp that's coming up, which means like we're at the end here at this point.
That's it. So, and the 3-part competitions are always so good.
I know, I love it. It's my favorite.
Love it. It's going to be awesome sauce. We will have to wait till Monday because, as we know, it's no longer on Sundays. It is on Monday. And so I didn't do it at the beginning, but if you had to put this week in 3 words, guys, I'm doing the 3-word thing. What would your 3 words be?
3 words, eh? I'd say lots of fun because we're starting to see people's games not go how they wanted because they've had such a fluent season so far, and now people really have to be like, hey, this isn't going the way I wanted, So I think that it's fun from a game perspective for a fan. I think it was fun this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, it has to be. It's at the end, right? So, like, there has to be legit backstabbing now and blindsides. Like, you can't do anything else. So it's unfortunate it had to wait until, like, the last 2 weeks for it to kind of happen, or a triple eviction for it to happen. But, yeah, for sure. It's about time it got lots of fun. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. I would say delusion, ego, and individual. So like playing for themselves again, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm gonna go with the individualistic. Now everyone's playing on their own. Yeah, I don't know. And then I'll just put a 2-word thing, same old. So individualism with same old, because it's still everyone's kind of playing safe. Nicole should have taken that step to do what she needed to put Cody on the block. Why? Safety. No, that's it. So it's individual, same, and safety. Everyone's kind of, I guess, same and safety. Anyways, so everyone is just always playing it safe, and I don't get it.
There was no risk this season.
No risk. No risk at all. And I don't if this wasn't an all-star season, I would understand maybe a little. But these are all-stars. Not all scared. I'm sorry. Nicole.
She called it. She called it. Week 2.
Yeah. Week 2. She called it. Apparently Nicole, but this is all scared. This isn't all stars. I honestly think, dare I say, worst season?
So I actually had a thought about this, and it's not entirely the player's fault. And this was when the night moves came up, I was like, right. We have not seen, I think production has failed in the competitions because usually there are competitions that reveal where your loyalties are. There's a lot more of them that require
That's true.
To work with the other players or to select other players or whatever. So production played into this big alliance, and they did not bring out competitions that would force a fracture. And so if because of all the way the competitions were set up, it allowed this big group to kind of steamroll everything, and production failed to create the drama, to create the environment in which those fractures and cracks could be opened or become more visible. And the few times that it did happen, I think 2 or 3 times in the season, we talked about competitions where that happened. It was mended quickly because it was still too early. There were still too many people in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good point too, because a lot of the competitions were just basic, generic. I don't have to show any of my cards. Don't have to show who I'm working with. It's more just I win. That's it. Yeah.
And time-based. So not watching each other, strictly time-based competitions.
Yeah. That's true, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So, I mean, yeah, and ultimately, what else are you gonna do, right? I mean, it's for the committee. It's genius. They're not there to necessarily create entertainment. They're just there to win $500,000, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, it was up. That's you put the nail. But I can't. You
hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head. Thank you. I was like, nail on the coffin, and I'm like, no, that's so cryptic, and that's not the one I'm looking for. Yeah, hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that's it. So BP production, shame on you.
Yeah, I think as much as the fans are upset with the way the season went, I think that CBS and production has to take at least a little bit of responsibility for this. Not just the players.
I agree too, but I think they I think that what's the word? I'm a little dyslexic today. Hold on. They're just I don't think they underestimated how much power this alliance would have and how they plowed through the house, because I think maybe they were just banking on like, well, this can't go on all season, and then it did, and they were like, oh shit, oops, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, it's Cody's game to lose. Let's see if he breaks the curse of OTEV.
I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Every player that's won OTEV has not won the game.
Oh snap! That's a nice little wiki dink FYI. I didn't know. Okay, huh? Interesting.
And OTEV is such an important competition too, so that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be. Yeah. So if we're picking guys, so who's still in technically from their first choice?
I think I'm the only one here. I think because I picked Enzo, and I think I picked Cody and changed my mind to Enzo.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'd have to listen. I know I changed my mind. I can't remember. It was like a Tyler or a Cody or someone, and then I changed to Enzo. So I'm the only one still in. But Enzo's got to pull it out in his speech if he has any hope in heck of
yeah. Honestly, though, Enzo's still pretty scary though, because at the end of the day, people just love him. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah. And I was kind of banking on his wild card to build a little bit of a resume, to take some risk. And I think that's also why I'm very disappointed that, he didn't split the vote, and he gets people amped up and then doesn't follow through, because I was kind of banking on that for him to have some resume. But then I also don't think he'd have the jury on his side, given everything that's happened, if he did make those moves. So it's tough. So I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it out.
What'd you say, Steph?
I said, I can't remember who I picked. I think I might have just said I really like Cody, and so I don't know if he was my official pick though. But if it is, then I've always said Cody and Enzo were great choices. But I don't know if I can't remember if that was my official pick.
Fair. Well, I think I picked Ian or Nicole or something, so I'm out. And then so you're obviously still going with Enzo, CICi. If you had to pick right now, Steph, you're still sticking with Codes?
Only because I think if Cody and Enzo go to final 2, I don't know who would. I don't know. People get a little emotional when they vote, so I don't know who would get picked. But yeah, I guess Cody. I think Cody was my initial. I'd be biased to say Enzo now just because he's so well positioned, but I think I'd stick with Cody still.
Yeah, I think it's Cody's game to lose, honestly. Nicole, if she gets to the final 2 chair, I think she could win against Christmas. I think that's the only Christmas or Enzo. She can't win against Cody.
Honestly, though, I
don't think they'd give it to Nocole again. I really don't think they would.
I think they'll just give it because they even talked about it, the jury, right? A little bit. And I think, honestly, if Nocole gets onto that final 2, she wins.
Even against Cody?
I think even against Cody, because honestly, at the same time, she was part of the committee, so Cody doesn't have that on her. She did her deal. She can say she manipulated Danielle in a nicer way, so Danielle doesn't flip on her. But she knows she has Danielle's vote no matter what. And the fact is, the fact that you were a target since the beginning of getting into that house and you made it to the end for the second time, that's, call it what you will, but that's skill.
And that's the thing
right there. And so that's one of the juries aren't spiteful because they might be spiteful when they get into the jury house. But when it comes to the nit and gritty and either Dr. Will is there or whoever else discussing the game and so on, they get to gameplay and they get to how people played and so on and discuss their strategies. So I think it's Cody's game to lose and Nicole's game to win. So I'm like thinking Nocole.
I don't know. Yeah. It's hard too though, because Cody did make it to the final 2 once before also, right? He didn't win the game, but I think it would say a lot about that they both made it back to final 2. They're on equal footing, I think.
I think it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between the two. I think jury disposition is going to decide if it ends up being Cody and Nocole in those final 2 chairs. I think that it would be the wrong game move for either of them to take the other one.
Yeah, for sure. Nicole's best bet. Well, honestly, Nicole's best bet is Christmas. Cody's best bet is technically either Enzo or Christmas. I don't know, man. Enzo is a wild card too, though. He really is, because it can really go any way with him. His social game was really strong.
I think the jury might downplay his game though, and so I as much as I picked him, I don't trust him to be able to articulate his game in a way that the jury actually respects it, because they're just going to see him as the lovable goofball that ends up being a goat at the end, like just a filler chair.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Well, guys, if June could win, all right, I'm out of stuff.
You got some serious hang-ups, eh?
Yeah, straight up. I was so upset, and clearly I haven't gotten over it like 18 years later. Yeah, so that's it. So we'll see what happens, guys. We're almost there. We're there in the nitty-gritty. I guess Monday is going to be obviously the HOH. So it's just going to be like a regular week, and then it's next week where it's going to be the crazy triple bonanza. See who goes to final 2, and whoever wins POV takes whoever they want. So I am super excited. And yeah, that's pretty much your week 10. It was good, I guess. There's forced blindsiding that needs to be here. I'm glad Memphis is no longer there. I was tired of his cockiness. And I'm curious to see how he's going to be in the jury house. People are not going to like him.
He's going to get the 3rd degree. Holy crike.
For sure. Mm-hmm. And I hope him and David get into a fight.
Oh.
Because if I was David right now, I'd be so like, random. Bro, why were you always after me? Like, it didn't make any sense. But David's not a confrontational guy, so nothing's going to happen. They'll just be weird stares. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's that. And on to where we can follow you guys. Stephanie, where can they follow you?
Yes, my Instagram, as always, is at Stephanie's Bakery 514. There were some goodies posted during the week and some more to come. And also, I'd like to plug our charities again for Royal LePage Shelter Foundation. The link will be provided. I think I forgot to give it to you last week, but I'll remind me and I'll send it right after.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just literally our fundraisers to help our women's shelters for domestic violence.
Nice. Perfect. CICi, what do we have the pleasure of you supporting this week?
You say that like I bring something different every week. No, Race for Ramadan is wrapping up, so we're gonna wrap it up by the end of October. So if you are at all interested, please take a look at that. Hopefully, we can get the last of these donations distributed to some percussion groups in Guinea. And it is Women's History Month, so take some time to look at some women in history and their contribution to where we are today.
Snap, yes. And I will also have a link for that as well. I found a nice little website. So I always try to find different websites that add a whole bunch of information so you don't have to go everywhere. Yeah, so do that. It's Women's Month. And that's it. You can, of course, follow me at JLB420. Real Talk Radio is, of course, the brand at Real Talk Radio 8. Anchor.fm/RTR. There's basically, if you prefer Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, whatever's your go-to podcast, you can certainly find me on all of them. And yeah, I'm not plugging that website because it's still not updated. So I will do it anyways. realtalkradio.online because I paid for it, and why not? And that's it. So thank you guys, though, for listening. This has been your Week 10 recap. We'll see you back next time on Week 11. Ciao for now.
Bye.